Hi, students, let's get started with the subject Science, Chapter 3 Atoms and Molecules. Ancient Indian and Greek philosophers have always wondered about the unknown and unseen form of matter. The idea of divisibility of matter was considered long back in India, around 500 BC. An Indian philosopher Maharshi Kanad postulated that if we go on dividing matter, Padarth, we shall get smaller and smaller particles. Ultimately, a stage will come when we shall come across the smallest particles beyond which further division will not be possible. He named these particles Parmanu. Another Indian philosopher, Pakudha Katyayana, elaborated this doctrine and said that these particles normally exist in a combined form which gives us various forms of matter. Around the same era, ancient Greek philosophers Democritus and Leucippus suggested that if we go on dividing matter, a stage will come when particles obtained cannot be divided further. Democritus called these indivisible particles atoms, meaning indivisible. All this was based on philosophical considerations and not much experimental work to validate these ideas could be done till the 18th century. By the end of the 18th century, scientists recognized the difference between elements and compounds and naturally became interested in finding out how and why elements combine and what happens when they combine. Antoine N. Lavoisier laid the foundation of chemical sciences by establishing two important laws of chemical combination. 3.1 Laws of Chemical Combination. The following two laws of chemical combination were established after much experimentations by Lavoisier and Joseph N. Law of conservation of mass states that mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. 3.1.2 Law of constant proportions. Lavoisier, along with other scientists, noted that many compounds were composed of two or more elements. And each such compound had the same elements in the same proportions, irrespective of where the compound came from or who prepared it. In a compound such as water, the ratio of the mass of hydrogen to the mass of oxygen is always 1/8, whatever the source of water. Thus, if 9g of water is decomposed, 1g of hydrogen and 8g of oxygen are always obtained. Similarly, in ammonia, nitrogen and hydrogen are always present in the ratio 14:3 by mass, whatever the method or the source from which it is obtained. This led to the law of constant proportions, which is also known as the law of definite proportions. This law was stated by Proust as, in a chemical substance the elements are always present in definite proportions by mass. The next problem faced by scientists was to give appropriate explanations of these laws. British chemist John Dalton provided the basic theory about the nature of matter. Dalton picked up the idea of divisibility of matter, which was till then just a philosophy. He took the name atoms as given by the Greeks and said that the smallest particles of matter are atoms. His theory was based on the laws of chemical combination. Dalton's atomic theory provided an explanation for the law of conservation of mass and the law of definite proportions. John Dalton was born in a poor weaver's family in 1766 in England. He began his career as a teacher at the age of 12. 7 years later, he became a school principal. In 1793, Dalton left for Manchester to teach mathematics, physics and chemistry in a college. He spent most of his life there teaching and researching. In 1808, he presented his atomic theory, which was a turning point in the study of matter. According to Dalton's atomic theory, all matter, whether an element, a compound, or a mixture, is composed of small particles called atoms. The postulates of this theory may be stated as follows. All matter is made of very tiny particles called atoms, which participate in chemical reactions. Atoms are indivisible particles, which cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. Atoms of a given element are identical in mass and chemical properties. Atoms of different elements have different masses and chemical properties. Atoms combine in the ratio of small whole numbers to form compounds. The relative number and kinds of atoms are constant in a given compound. You will study in the next chapter that all atoms are made up of still smaller particles. 3.2 What is an atom? Have you ever observed a mason building walls? From these walls a room and then a collection of rooms to form a building? What is the building block of the huge building? What about the building block of an anthill? It is a small grain of sand. Similarly, the building blocks of all matter are atoms. How big are atoms? Atoms are very small. They are smaller than anything that we can imagine or compare with. More than millions of atoms when stacked would make a layer barely as thick as this sheet of paper. We might think that if atoms are so insignificant in size, why should we care about them? This is because our entire world is made up of atoms. We may not be able to see them, but they are there and constantly affecting whatever we do. Through modern techniques, we can now produce magnified images of surfaces of elements showing atoms. 3.2.1 What are the modern-day symbols of atoms of different elements? Dalton was the first scientist to use the symbols for elements in a very specific sense. When he used a symbol for an element, he also meant a definite quantity of that element, that is, one atom of that element. Berzelius suggested that the symbols of elements be made from one or two letters of the name of the element. In the beginning, the names of elements were derived from the name of the place where they were found for the first time. For example, the name copper was taken from Cyprus. Some names were taken from specific colors. For example, gold was taken from the English word meaning yellow. Nowadays, IUPAC, International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, is an international scientific organization which approves names of elements, symbols and units. Many of the symbols are the first one or two letters of the element's name in English. The first letter of a symbol is always written as a capital letter, uppercase, and the second letter as a small letter, lowercase. For example, I, hydrogen, H, 2, aluminium, Al and not Al, 3, cobalt, Co and not Co. Symbols of some elements are formed from the first letter of the name and a letter appearing later in the name. Examples are I, chlorine, Cl, 2, zinc, Zn, etc. Other symbols have been taken from the names of elements in Latin, German or Greek. For example, the symbol of iron is Fe from its Latin name ferrum, sodium is Na from natrium, potassium is K from kalium. Therefore, each element has a name and a unique chemical symbol. The above table is given for you to refer to whenever you study about elements. Do not bother to memorize all in one go. With the passage of time and repeated usage, you will automatically be able to reproduce the symbols. 3.2.2 Atomic mass. The most remarkable concept that Dalton's atomic theory proposed was that of the atomic mass. According to him, each element had a characteristic atomic mass. The theory could explain the law of constant proportions so well that scientists were prompted to measure the atomic mass of an atom. Since determining the mass of an individual atom was a relatively difficult task, relative atomic masses were determined using the laws of chemical combinations and the compounds formed. Let us take the example of a compound, carbon monoxide, CO, formed by carbon and oxygen. It was observed experimentally that 3G of carbon combines with 4G of oxygen to form CO. In other words, carbon combines with 4/3 times its mass of oxygen. Suppose we define the atomic mass unit, earlier abbreviated as AMU, but according to the latest IUPAC recommendations, it is now written as U, unified mass, as equal to the mass of one carbon atom. Then we would assign carbon an atomic mass of 1.0 U and oxygen an atomic mass of 1.33 U. However, it is more convenient to have these numbers as whole numbers or as near to a whole numbers as possible. While searching for various atomic mass units, scientists initially took 1/16 of the mass of an atom of naturally occurring oxygen as the unit. This was considered relevant due to two reasons: times oxygen reacted with a large number of elements and formed compounds, times this atomic mass unit gave masses of most of the elements as whole numbers. However, in 1961, for a universally accepted atomic mass unit, carbon-12 isotope was chosen as the standard reference for measuring atomic masses. One atomic mass unit is a mass unit equal to exactly 1/12th the mass of one atom of carbon-12. The relative atomic masses of all elements have been found with respect to an atom of carbon-12. Imagine a fruit seller selling fruits without any standard weight with him. He takes a watermelon and says, this has a mass equal to 12 units, 12 watermelon units or 12 fruit mass units. He makes 12 equal pieces of the watermelon and finds the mass of each fruit he is selling relative to the mass of one piece of the watermelon. Now he sells his fruits by relative fruit mass unit, FMU. Similarly, the relative atomic mass of the atom of an element is defined as the average mass of the atom as compared to 1/12th the mass of one carbon-12 atom. 3.2.3 How do atoms exist? Atoms of most elements are not able to exist independently. Atoms form molecules and ions. These molecules or ions aggregate in large numbers to form the matter that we can see, feel, or touch. 3.3 What is a molecule? A molecule is in general a group of two or more atoms that are chemically bonded together, that is, tightly held together by attractive forces. A molecule can be defined as the smallest particle of an element or a compound that is capable of an independent existence and shows all the properties of that substance. Atoms of the same element or of different elements can join together to form molecules. 3.3.1 Molecules of elements. the molecules of an element are constituted by the same type of atoms. Molecules of many elements, such as argon, Ar, helium, He, etc., are made up of only one atom of that element. But this is not the case with most of the nonmetals. For example, a molecule of oxygen consists of two atoms of oxygen and hence it is known as a diatomic molecule, O2. If three atoms of oxygen unite into a molecule instead of the usual two, we get ozone, O3. The number of atoms constituting a molecule is known as its atomicity. Metals and some other elements, such as carbon, do not have a simple structure but consist of a very large and indefinite number of atoms bonded together. 3.3.2 molecules of compounds, atoms of different elements joined together in definite proportions to form molecules of compounds. 3.3.3 What is an ion? Compounds composed of metals and nonmetals contain charged species. The charged species are known as ions. Ions may consist of a single charged atom or a group of atoms that have a net charge on them. An ion can be negatively or positively charged. A negatively charged ion is called an anion, and the positively charged ion, a cation. Take, for example, sodium chloride, NaCl. Its constituent particles are positively charged sodium ions, Na+, and negatively charged chloride ions, Cl. A group of atoms carrying a charge is known as a polyatomic ion. 3.4 Writing chemical formulae. The chemical formula of a compound is a symbolic representation of its composition. The chemical formulae of different compounds can be written easily. For this exercise, we need to learn the symbols and combining capacity of the elements. The combining power, or capacity, of an element is known as its valency. Valency can be used to find out how the atoms of an element will combine with the atoms of another element to form a chemical compound. The valency of the atom of an element can be thought of as hands or arms of that atom. Human beings have 2 arms and an octopus has 8. If one octopus has to catch hold of a few people in such a manner that all the 8 arms of the octopus and both arms of all the humans are locked, how many humans do you think the octopus can hold? Represent the octopus with O and humans with H. Can you write a formula for this combination? Do you get all 4 as the formula? The subscript 4 indicates the number of humans held by the octopus. The valencies of some common ions are given in table 3.6. We will learn more about valency in the next chapter. The rules that you have to follow while writing a chemical formula are as follows: times the valencies or charges on the ion must balance. When a compound consists of a metal and a nonmetal, the name or symbol of the metal is written first. For example, calcium oxide, Cl, sodium chloride, NaCl, iron sulfide, Fe(S), copper oxide, CuO, etc. Where oxygen, chlorine, sulfur are nonmetals and are written on the right, whereas calcium, sodium, iron and copper are metals and are written on the left. In compounds formed with polyatomic ions, the number of ions present in the compound is indicated by enclosing the formula of ion in a bracket and writing the number of ions outside the bracket. For example, Mg or 2. In case the number of polyatomic ion is 1, the bracket is not required. For example, now H. 3.4.1 Formulae of simple compounds. The simplest compounds, which are made up of two different elements, are called binary compounds. Valencies of some ions are given in table 3.6. You can use these to write formulae for compounds. While writing the chemical formulae for compounds, we write the constituent elements and their valencies as shown below. Then we must cross over the valencies of the combining atoms. 3.5 molecular mass, 3.5.1 molecular mass. In section 3.2.2 we discussed the concept of atomic mass. This concept can be extended to calculate molecular masses. The molecular mass of a substance is the sum of the atomic masses of all the atoms in a molecule of the substance. It is therefore the relative mass of a molecule expressed in atomic mass units, U. 3.5.2 Formula unit mass. The formula unit mass of a substance is a sum of the atomic masses of all atoms in a formula unit of a compound. Formula unit mass is calculated in the same manner as we calculate the molecular mass. The only difference is that we use the word formula unit for those substances whose constituent particles are ions. For example, sodium chloride, as discussed above, has a formula unit NaCl. Its formula unit mass can be calculated as 1 times 23 plus 1 times 35.5 is equal to 58.5 U. Thanks for watching.